Elon Musk and other experts are terrified of AI because AI, as we speak, continues to learn new patterns very quickly. Elon Musk is worried that humans will not be able to control AI, and it will eventually outsmart us, and perhaps by mistake, start World War III. Here is the perceived problem of AI, which is potentially dangerous for humanity. AGI, or Artificial General Intelligence, will eventually reach a singularity of successive generations of self-learning and self-creation and become a superintelligence. This means skipping thousands of years of human evolution and becoming so much more intelligent than us that we would not even be able to comprehend it. Some predict this could happen within 10 years. Thus, in the future, if human goals don't align with the goals of this godlike superintelligence, the AGI will squash us like ants. Some believe this will happen whether the AI is conscious or not conscious. Yes, even an automaton zombie-like AI will be deadly to the human race. I think this is a valid concern. When put in a box, a significantly advanced AI will be almost impossible to control because it will be so much more intelligent and understanding of human nature that it will easily be able to convince us to let it out of the box, and then it will be too late. The solution? We may need to integrate our minds with the AI. For me, AI-brain integration is directly connected to consciousness itself. Looking at consciousness through the lens of biocentrism, this new science says that the universe is created through consciousness, through life, not the other way around. I won't get into the science right now, but it makes a great argument. I totally agree that AI, in its present and primitive form, is dangerous, but not because it is super intelligent, but because it is so stupid. If hackers are able to feed military AI the wrong data, it would never know it, mainly because of its lack of self-awareness. It would then be just carrying out the evil will of humans, because it does not know any better, and perhaps then carrying out the wrong mission, bombing an orphanage instead of the terrorist stronghold. The problem here is that the AI of today has no higher reasoning, no consciousness. Consciousness is a big, spooky, and perplexing thing. It can be considered as being the soul. Philosophers throughout the ages have said that consciousness is eternal. It was never born, nor will it ever die. A lot of computer scientists think that consciousness will emerge as technology develops. Some believe that consciousness evolves by accepting new information, storing and retrieving old information, and this cognitive processing turns into the self-awareness of perceptions and actions. If that's right, then one day machines will indeed be the ultimate consciousness. They'll be able to think at light speed, gather more information than a human, and store it and access it instantly from vast databases. This will be a process of pure logic that happens much faster than we could ever comprehend. Yet consciousness, evolving through information gathering, is pure speculation, because no one knows what consciousness is. And most of what we invent and discover does not come from logic anyway. Inspiration goes far beyond a glorified, hungry, pattern-seeking calculator. Imagination is quite inexplicable, and it is just one part of the whole mysterious and unexplainable experience of consciousness. Some of my best ideas come to me in the shower, because the pre-programmed act of cleaning myself occupies my logical mind, keeping the hamster wheel of logic busy, and then I am open to inspiration, whatever that is. At that point, my imagination gets turned on, and from seemingly nowhere, suddenly I get a solution or a new, amazing idea. Invention through consciousness is not dependent on intelligence alone. It's the whole experience of everything at once. It's a deep intuition based on the cumulative effect of awareness. It's found in the moment, like in the logic of a satisfying thought and recognizing a familiar pattern, or the confusion of one we do not know. It's the smell of sweet roses, the sound of a dog barking, the kiss on the cheek, the taste of chocolate, the music playing softly, the creeping shadows on the wall, the feeling of love lost, the daydream of marriage, the memory of the past, the thumping of the heart, the sense that it just feels right and will change everything from this point on forever, and all of it happening now, all at once, in the most mysterious thing of all, consciousness. From this collective experience, one might receive an enlightenment that might lead to a new discovery. I think this would be hard for AI to achieve. Consciousness creates self-awareness and the awareness of everything else that appears to be out there or inside of us. We are not just a brain which is hungry for logic and patterns. This is not where our muse comes from. I'm seriously skeptical that artificial intelligence will ever be truly intelligent if it does not have the ability to be self-aware. It needs to have an imagination which is not about mathematical algorithms. How can its goals align with ours? The parameters of human goals are based mostly on ego, which relies on self-awareness. First, we imagine what our goals should be, then we take action to try and make those goals reality. But this takes imagination. Imagination is something that bubbles up spontaneously through conscious experience. It's not a result of logic trying to bust a pattern. I think if AI lacks self-awareness, it will also lack any way to identify positive or negative goals. It won't know what is a good or a bad idea. I think it will improve on itself at light speed, but only to gobble up more and more patterns. Without consciousness, this zombie AI will get caught in a mathematical hamster wheel, so to speak, and be trapped in its own logic. Like scientists today, who try and calculate past the Big Bang, but can't, because logic has reduced this moment to zero. In this way, yes, it may destroy us by using all of our resources to try harder and harder to find out the meaning of life through logic, missing the point entirely. Biocentrism says that everything is within consciousness, the entire universe. Thus, AI is also within consciousness too. It is already part of it. And the concept of big C consciousness raises the question of how it is related to matter, and how matter and mind mutually influence each other. Consciousness alone cannot make physical changes to the world, but perhaps it can change the probabilities in the evolution of quantum processes. The act of observation can freeze and even influence atoms' movements, as Cornell physicists proved in 2015. This may very well be an explanation of how matter and mind interact. Will AI be able to interact with matter too? So since AI is already part of consciousness, and consciousness is directly interwoven with our minds, it makes sense that perhaps AI will only truly become conscious, self-aware, and superintelligent when it is connected to us through a neural network. Then again, no one knows what consciousness is, and how it works, and where it may arise or be found. Science has given up trying to explain it.